Howdy y'all, this is AR Catley and welcome back to my channel. It has been some months since I've made a video. I'm not a professional YouTuber, so I don't worry too much about that, but I had actually been meaning to catch on, and I realized just earlier that my last video, session 8, I had set on to release. I set it to private so I could release it a couple days later, and then completely forgot about it. So it's been sitting, it's been sitting there for 3 months, I think since August or something like that. Uh, but anyway, without further ado, let us get back to our adventures on Beta Canon 4. We are going through the Beanstalk adventure. And since it has been so long, do a little reminder of our NPCs, well, our PCs, sorry, for myself too. Horace Mares is the colonist on Ellis, our survival guy. Uh, Not very eloquent or educated, but skilled and wise. Stefan Kellerman, who is our former Bavarian, now German after the the War of German Reunification. He's our scout and pilot sort of guy, space pilot kind of guy. Then we have Zhao Mei, who is our Manchurian scientist, linguist, academic type person. She's pretty smart. And Gordon Wooford is our space marine. I won't say former space marine because, as we know, or former U.S. Marine, as we know, once a Marine, always a Marine. Or if you've ever worked with Marines, then you know that. Uh, as a reminder of what they were doing, you may have actually recently watched the video, and I only watched the video that I forgot to release because I forgot where I was, where everyone was at. They were just sneaking onto they have agreed to take samples, atmospheric samples, to prove that the current configuration, the current project for the Beanstalk, is causing structural damage, but they need to take atmospheric samples, molecular samples at a certain level in the atmosphere, and they have been hired by through their contacts at Rebco SAR. They've been hired to kind of sneak up and do that. The company, they had the chance for the company to let them do that, the ones running it. But as I recall, they did not convince them. So now they are sneaking into a capsule and they have to open the capsule, send out, basically hold probes out to take these atmospheric samples, go up to the top of the beanstalk, and then come down and take more samples on the way down. So they're doing it clandestinely as possible. All right. Now, from what I remember last time, or from my quick review of the last video, they had not, or they had assumed that more safety gear would be there, like parachutes or um, straps, safety cabling. But it is not there, according to this. It's just mostly, the equipment that they have. So they managed to sit there, they managed to remain quiet, and they feel the sudden lurch upward, which settles into a sensation of about 1.5 G. And it begins to accelerate to its final speed of 300 kilometers per hour. This continues for about 1 minute, and gravity returns to normal cruising speed. And that's when they know that it's time to get to work. So the first task is to don a vac suit. Unskilled, routine. It takes 20 seconds. Now there's a note here that says all the following tasks have been increased due to the fact that they are working in vac suits. But any character with vac suit, and as I said previously, what 2300 AD, the skill is P suit. So vac suit, P suit for pressure suit, uh, interchangeable. Any character with vac suit may also add his or her skill level to the role of each of these tasks. Also, each of these tasks is hazardous once the hatch is open. So failure at a task is always 3 die 6 with total mishap resulting in the character falling out. Let's see now. Normally, it would be one of those things where surely someone would think about bringing that, but because of the role that which I believe was a one, because of the role when we were going through the questions as what was going to happen, the they assumed that that equipment was going to be there. They assumed that the proper safety equipment was going to be there. Well, the German guy running the show, setting everything up, Geiger, yeah, Professor Geiger, he hasn't set that up. He's not a mission guy. He's an engineer. He's not thinking about that. He's thinking about all the instruments are properly correct. So as they start, because they have to be quiet, waiting for the launch or the start of the car going up the cable, and as they're starting to, now they can move around and stuff, they notice, let's see, who notices? Maybe multiples notice. Okay, so yeah, okay, so for 6, I'm going to say that several of them, especially since they are professionals and work in, some of them have done EVAs before. They start looking as they're donning. We'll say Stefan. He's kind of I think, our most experienced spacer type. He notices that there's no safety straps. There's no cables. There's no EVA cables, because even in 2300, it'd be crazy to be doing EVAs without securing yourself somewhere, unless you had some kind of pack. But there's it at. There's no straps. And Wolford, who also is not particularly happy about it, but realizes that they need to do it. Let's see, I'm going to say, is there a discussion of them not going through with it because of this? I'm going to say it's unlikely, because they're already here and they're kind of, they know that they have to get ready anyway. So there's going to be any kind of conflict. Unlikely, so only on a 5 or 6 for the red. Oh man. Okay, so there is some kind of serious conflict that's going to be. Get my little book over here that I use for some of my handy tables. That's the Forge. It's an OSR game, but it has a bunch of good tables in it that I refer to a lot. All right, so that is so that's the 6 for the blue modifier die. That's an and. So yes, and. So that means that it's not going to be, it's not going to go well. So I think what we have to do is we're going to set up sides here. So that's going to be, I think Stefan, I think he's going to be, because he's already been shot, and well, he may be more in support of doing the mission because, yeah. So I was going to assume him, but let's not do that. So I'm just going to roll for each character. On a 1 through 3, they want to abort. On a 4, 5, or 6, they want to go. All right, so Gordon. Okay, Gordon. He hasn't survived all these battles to to die for some stupid a German corporation or some French corporation. All right, Zhao Mei. Okay, Zhao Mei. Uh, she wants to do it because she's interested. I think for her it's going to be a. Oh, you know what? This ties into her. Um, what is her craziness? Oh yeah, she's insanely ambitious. So I think because that has to do with her academics, I think for her, she wants to know. So she's not like cracking up or anything, but she definitely wants to do it. All right, so let's see about Stefan. Does he want to help the Germans, or does he want to go home in one piece? Okay, so he is for the Germans. All right. So that's why he wants to do it. He says, "We got to do it. Okay, forget it. We can do this anyway." And let's see about Horace Mares. He's kind of a simple man, but he's known for his wisdom. What does he want? Okay, so he does not want to either. Um, so it's okay. Well, it looks like it's the two Americans uh, do not want to get involved in this uh, foreign conflict. How about that? And the other two do, however. So how are we going to resolve this? We're going to have to resolve it quickly because they're either going to need to convince them right away. I say everyone's still trying to put on their suit while they're deciding, if for no other reason that something may happen anyway. All right, so I think it's probably going to be Gordon leading the one side, and I think Zhao Mei, she's going to be the one that's really vocal um, about what's going on. So instead of me necessarily trying to work out and act out an argument, let's see. Okay, so he's got a leadership of 0, eloquence bonus of 2. Let's see, does he have anything else? Now he's also the best pea suit. Let's see, she. All right. Okay, so she has psychology too, so I think that will definitely, and her eloquence is a little bit better than his. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to boil that whole thing down into a competitive role. Um, I guess he'll be blue and she'll be red, and so he's going to have plus. Well, his leadership's only 0, so that's not going to help him too much. Yeah. All right. So his eloquence bonus is plus 2. All right. So 8 plus 2. He may not necessarily be more convincing, except in the fact that he may try to stop people from going through with this ridiculous thing. All right. Now um, she has an eloquent bonus of 3 and a psychology of 2. I'm going to say, or I imagine that what she's doing is she's trying to tap into his, maybe his bravado. She knows he's brave. She knows he's badass. And she probably understands why. But she's going to explain that we need to get it done and it's a little too late to change her mind now, because if it doesn't, if we don't get what we're supposed to do, then it's going to be a lot of questions and we probably will get in more trouble. um, all right, so she's okay. Yep. So Zhao Mei, and she's good looking, so that's not really going to sway him. He's not a simp or anything, but it always hurts to be attractive. But anyway, so they're rushing to put on their different parts of their pressure suits, and the argument goes, and she comes just shy of shaming him, as shaming his masculinity. She doesn't go that far because then she knows he'll buck up and he will definitely dig his heels in. And he does have the ability to ruin the whole mission, even without hurting people. He's, uh, he's a pea suit expert, and she knows that they really need him. So she is going to convince him that they need him, and he signed on. And like I said, just reasonable points, short of actually insulting him. Um, but in the end, it carries through. Um, but I'm thinking that maybe this might extend their initial prep phase a little bit, because they spent some time arguing instead of necessarily shoving everything on. Okay, so to don a vac suit routine. All right, so all the tasks, blah blah blah. Now they don't have any parachutes or anything like that. Um, so all right, so it is routine to get that in there. So we'll start with the Xiaomei. Okay, no problem. Stefan. Okay, yeah, no problem. He's a spacer. Old Gordon. Okay, yep, no problem for him. And Horace Mares. 3. Oh, his pea suit is 2. All right, so everyone else is just about ready, but Horace, uh, he's hemming and hawing. He does, because he didn't want to do this in the first place, and so they're trying to get him in there, and it takes him the longest. Let's see. The character. I'll change it. All right, so I'm going to say that I'm not going to worry about keeping track necessarily by minute or whatever, but I'm going to say that does increase. It does increase some stress, and it does take a little longer, because he can actually get his helmet on, but he's sitting there arguing. He keeps arguing. We shouldn't do this. Don't open this up. We don't have any straps. I don't want to fall to my death. I don't want to fall to my death. All right. So now everyone is done. They've had their argument. They've had their blowout. And I think because no one rolled really poorly on the discussion and the argument, that there's no hard feelings, right? No one is angry. They understand the other point of view. And so Horace maybe he's not angry. He's more panicked, I think, because he just doesn't want to do it. Wolford, uh, Gordon Wolford, he probably, if anyone had been angry, it would have been him. But I think he rolled well enough that he's not angry. He just finally said, "Okay, let's do it. Let's do it." All right. So the next one character must work at disarming the safety mechanism and alarm on the main hatch. To do so is a task, electronic or mechanical. Um, 30 seconds. Now it's difficult, but it says in this case, which, um, and I guess it's reasonable. They can add their vac suit skill. Um, and I don't think that's like the standard of how it's used, but we'll go with that for now. So as we're going through, who's going to be our mechanical person? Okay, Horace has mechanical of 2. Electronics 1, mechanic 1 for Xiaomei. Okay, mechanical 1, electronics 1 for Stefan. Mechanical electronic 0, 2. Okay, so oddly enough, it's going to be Horace, the one who doesn't want to do it. He's going to he's going to be the one that's going to do it. So they definitely need him to do that. Let's see. I'm wondering, maybe I should. I think just for tension's sake, I think I will do a little timekeeping on how to do it. So vac suit, and to don the vac suit, it's 20 seconds times the 3d6. So I'll just roll for everyone, and okay. So that is That's 15. So it's like 300, 15, 20, 30, 306. So it looks like about 5. So it looks like it takes them about 5 minutes. I'm just gonna, uh, I mean, I know like modern vac suits take a long time to to get on. So, but if it's 20 seconds, yeah. So I think that, and even if that doesn't work out, I'm just not going to go back and check my math. But I think that's 300 seconds, which I think is 5 minutes. So it takes 5 minutes for them to get in, and we'll say that the last is because of what's his face arguing. Now they have, I think it said 15 minutes to get everything ready. Yeah. Okay. All right. So while he's doing that, it's going to take 30 seconds. This is what it's going to take his roll there. All right. So 13. All right. All right. I'm not ashamed that I'm using a calculator. So, anyway, so his first roll, and we don't even know if he made it yet, but it's going to be 6 minutes. I'm just going to round off 6 minutes to unlock the hatch. Okay. All right, so the others are starting to assemble the boom, which, okay, so each person difficulty is decreased by 1. So for every person working on the same boom. All right. So how many booms are there? Let's see. For every person to assemble the booms and fast. Okay, so there's 3 booms. All right. 3 booms that have to be assembled and basically stuck out the door. For every person working on the same boom beyond the first. Um, all right, so they have to assemble it and then put it together and then set it up. So how are they going to do that? Let's see. I think teamwork, unskilled, mechanical. Can't be him. Does everyone have mechanic? Mechanic. Okay, so everyone has it. I think they're going to try to each set it up. So instead of reducing, I think each one of them is going to try their own. Um, so that I'm just marking down some stuff here. Sorry, you're kind of uh, listening to me stutter a little bit. Okay, so that's Horace, and let's see. We'll go ahead and Xiao Mei. Oh, you know what? I think there's yeah, I need to look something up because I think that time actually gets reduced maybe. It's been a while. I haven't played it in 3 months, so most of my memory I'm going back from the 80s. I'll be right back while I do a quick rule browse. All right, so glad I did that little review. Yes, so what it calls the assets, so whatever bonuses you get, those are actually subtracted from the 3 die 6 roll. So in this case, he has +2 for his. This is Horace. I went back and changed Horace. It actually takes him a little less time because he has +2 for his skill and then +2, as described here, for his pea suit. So that drops it from over 6 minutes to just a little under 5 minutes. And also the booms. I reread the thing, and it takes a minimum of 2 people to work on it. So in this case, all 3 of them, they're going to have to set them up one at a time. and then hook them up to the thing one at or to the capsule one at a time. All right, so the way it's set is that for every person working on the same boom beyond the first, uh, the difficulty is decreased by 1, and the time roll is reduced by 3, with a maximum of 3 people and a minimum of 2. So it's going to be 3 people on that boom. I'm just going to have, I'll say, Xiao Mei, since she's the scientist, so she's probably a little more familiar with hooking up sensors and things like that. All right, so for each one of those, it's a time increment of 1 minute. Oof, that's tight. All right, so for every person working on the same boom beyond the first, difficulty decreased by 1. So that's going to be 2. That's difficult. I realize I should almost just, so if it's difficult, that's 10. I guess that means if it's decreased by 2, I wonder if that means like the target number or 2 levels. Usually it's 2 levels, so it's almost, yeah. The difficulty is decreased by 1, and the time roll reduced by 3. So, yeah, I think that's all right. They're working on something that is, um, it's difficult because of that. The I'm not really sure what it's trying to say, so I'm just going to say that's going to be the difficulty number. Um, because as it says here, all tasks have been increased by 1 degree of difficulty versus the difficulty is decreased by 1. I get it's a little unclear. I'm just going to go with the -2. So for every person working on the boom beyond the first, difficulty is decreased by 1. So that's going to be -2. So that's going to be 8. 8 plus. That makes it a little more interesting too. Although that does seem to make it a little hard, but given the situation, but we're also, I'm going to give, Gordon is not really the greatest in the mechanical part, but he does have his pea suit, which it says you can add there. All right, so, all right, time is -6. All right, so it's an 8 plus with I'm going to say a +6 to the roll between, oh no, she's only got 1 mechanic. I'm going to say +5 to the roll. So they have a pretty good chance of getting it done. All 3 of them are working on it. So, all right, so for the first boom, it's going to be time, let's see, -6. I'm going to go ahead and give it, I don't know, I'm done fooling around trying to trying to piece it out here. And it's probably just me. I'm going to say -7 for her 1 level in mechanics. So the time it takes to do this one is going to be 12 -7. All right, so that's 5 minutes to assemble that first one. And that's if it succeeds. And that is, all right, so that time is going to be concurrent with him unlocking the hatch. All right. Oh, and you know what? He can also, once he unlocks that hatch, he can help them. Maybe they can split off and assemble the 2 probes. Or maybe they should try to at least get 1 probe out there while the others are doing that. Interesting. Interesting. Those are the kind of decisions that make it a little more interesting than, do I take cover or use area fire or whatever? These are more technical decisions. And if I were a player on this, because I've never actually played through this, I'm not sure which one I'd do. I'd probably, knowing me, because I'm a very technical person, and depending on the situation, I do tend to fall into some analysis paralysis because that's just how I roll. Um, all right, so let's go ahead. So it's been 5 minutes for everyone to don their suits. I didn't subtract the time and everything because we had that 6-6 big blow up as they're arguing as to whether they should even go on. Because once they open up that hatch, all they have is like a ring around the inside to stand and hold on to while they're trying to get everything else hooked up. So it's actually pretty dangerous. Pretty dangerous. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll give Horace, does he get it unlocked? 2, 3. So that's 7. It's difficult. The safety has been as a hatch should not be open. The character. All right, so what does this actually do? All right, to disarm the safety, disarming the safety mechanism and alarm on the main hatch, although it'll be obvious. If the safety has been disarmed, as the hatch can now be opened, character may not be sure if the alarm. Okay, so he did not. He was not able to disarm that in his 5 minutes. All right, so that's a fail. Maybe he did that on purpose. Oh, I just can't do it. We can't go ahead. That would be interesting. All right, well, let's see how they do with their setting up the first boom. Oh, good grief. So even with that, they are unable to set up the first boom. Let's see how long that boondoggle takes them. This may they're off to a flying stop. Okay, so -7 for the time. Ay, caramba. All right, so 7. Oh, I already figured. Did I figure out the time? I don't think I figured out the time properly. 85. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, I already did. So that's 5 minutes, and that's a fail. Um, we'll say that as Horace is saying, "I can't get it unlocked. I can't get it unlocked." They start yelling at him. Of course, they're using their radios now or whatever. Get it open! Get it open! And that turns into another fight where they're distracted and yelling at each other. And now they're going to have to see if they can go, if they can do it again. Oh man, this is not going to be uh all right, so the thing's not open yet, but let's see what kind of task. Let's see. Also, each of these tasks is hazardous once the hatch is open, but I don't think they're hazardous yet. No one has um, no one's going to fall out or anything. Uh, but let's see. I'm gonna say these are just regular failures at this point. Um, so he retry again? 10. Okay, so he has to check determination. Good grief. This is he Horace does not want to do this. He doesn't care whatever anyone else says apparently. So to check his determination, that is going to be what is his let's see, determine after failure. Oh, it's difficult. Well, he doesn't have time to wait. So what is Horace's determination? All right. Oh, not high. So only a bonus of 2. So he needs to get a high. He needs to get an 8 or better. No. Okay. No, he just I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do at all. Okay, so he can, since his the way the check determination works is if it is successful, the character may retry immediately without penalty. If unsuccessful, the character may retry immediately at one increase in difficulty, or retry with no penalty after waiting 10 times the actual duration. So he obviously doesn't have time for that. Um, so it would now become formidable, which means he would need a 10 or better to do that. Um, so I think what they're going to do is they're going to send. He's going to now, uh, since it is kind of a ship-like piece of equipment, Stefan is going to take over opening the hatch, and um, Horace is going to start helping put the things together. So we'll give him he has one higher. All right. So Stefan, as he tries to now again in this case, he's got a pea suit of 2, gets to add that. Mechanical 1, so +3. So it's going to be, so time is going to be -3. This is for the, okay, so that's going to be 180 seconds. So that's 3 minutes. Is that right? I think that sounds right. Close enough for me. And as those three, they're going to try to assemble that one boom again. They've already wasted 10 minutes, so they need to uh, get maybe at least just one. Man. All right, so we'll say that's going to be +6 because I'm giving Gordon's bonus of his pea suit, so that's going to be +6, and then his +2 for mechanical. So -6 from the time for the second attempt. Okay. Oh, so that's good. That's only going to be, so that's going to be 3 minutes too. All right. And Traveler is not a game with luck points or or anything else. Um, so 3 minutes. Can he get that open? Oh, good grief. All right, so that safety hatch, I guess somebody really just put it together well, and they're just not able. They're not being able to get this thing open. Maybe Geiger should have provided more concrete instructions. Okay. All right. I'm just going to take a quick minute to reread, make sure that I'm doing this right, because some of these numbers um, seem a little high. All right. Now let's see if the team is able to, same thing, eight or better, but this time it's uh, they get more because assembling a boom that's kind of meant to be assembled should be a little easier. Okay, so they get the first boom assembled. First boom assembled. But the hatch is still not open. Let's see how Stefan does with his determination roll to see if he can try it again. What is his determination? Okay, so it's all right. It's +3, so it's difficult. +3. All right, so he can try it again, but it's going to be, instead of it being difficult, it's going to be impossible, and he wouldn't even really be able to do that, so you'd have to wait. Um, all right, so I think the next that they're just going to have to go back around, and um, so far we've got 10, so we're 13 minutes. I don't think they're going to be able to finish up here. Okay, have to survive, concentrate. Okay, they open the bottom hatch, set up the equipment. Oh, that's the other way. All right, if players ask him, bring along the witch. Okay. All right. I'm going to verify how long they actually have because I'm going by 15 minutes, but I'm just going to double check that. All right, so yes, it is 15 minutes. Although I realized that I didn't roll my, or at least I don't think I did. I'm not going back the whole video, but I think I just had Stefan make his roll, but I forgot to actually roll the failure type. So that's a 2d6 roll, which may not have he might not have had to do that. So failure, check determination. It actually might even be worse. Okay, 5. Okay, so he's able to retry. He's able to retry, and see, I don't think that there's really enough room for two people to work on that. So he's going to retry immediately. So that's good. Um, so that thing about him failing his determination, he doesn't have to. So he can just make another roll. We're going to see how long it takes him to start over because it's basically what he has to do. Now they do only have 15 minutes to get to the bottom of the mesosphere. All right, so they have to take their samples here quickly. Now they do have a chance on the way back down, but they can't get this freaking hatch open. That's going to be a lot of wasted time because the rest of the trip is 5 days just sitting around doing nothing. Um, all right. So how long is it going to take him to open that hatch? All right, so the first one's assembled. I wonder how it says that. Okay. Three people working on each boom, fastened into place against the edges of the hatch to sample the skin of the beanstalk. Okay. Hmm. I think just for the sake of it, because again, it's not really clear. It says they have to open the hatch, um, assemble the boom, and fasten the sampling equipment onto the ends. Booms have to be fastened in place against the hatch. So I'm not really sure how if they can attach the booms before they're 10-meter booms. Not really sure how big the hatch is. I think just for the sake of it, I'm gonna let them start. Once the boom is assembled, I think they can start attaching it. Um, so because that shouldn't be really too much. Maybe I've got the mechanics of that wrong in my head, but that's what I'm going to do. So while he's going to start back looking at or trying to open that hatch again with his mechanics. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3. So -3. Okay, so 4. All right, so 4. So that's okay. So it's only going to be 2 minutes this time. And that's for the hatch again. And let's see what they're going to do. So they're going to set up the boom, mechanical, 30 seconds. All right, so that's going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I think it'll be the same, except it takes half the time. 2 people required to set up a boom, 1 to hold it in place, the other fasten it. 3 people work on it, the difficulty is decreased. See, there it says the difficulty is decreased by 1 level if 3 people work on it. So maybe that is what it was supposed to be. For each person working on it beyond the first difficulty. So that actually does make sense that it would be by levels because you're just assembling a boom. Although they did roll a 1 in that first failure, I think, anyway. So, all right, to hold 1 in place, the other fasten it down. Difficult, so it's going to be routine because 3 people are working on it. And oh, let me get the time. Okay, so time is halved. So it's minimum of 3. So 30 seconds. So we'll say 2 minutes for that, just because it'll match up. Those are going concurrently. All right. Can he get the hatch open? Yes. All right. So he gets the hatch open finally. He curses. He gives some big fancy German Bavarian curse, which I'm sure sounds very impressive. And let's see if they're able to get that boom, at least one boom, hooked up. And that's going to put it like right at the 15 minutes. So they will have at least one sensor. Now they're getting stuff on the way back down so they can focus on the other 2. So, come on, baby. Let's not waste this whole trip. You're not my chungy. All right. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this actually gets a +4 because it says you can. All right. So good. So good. Despite it being a 2, it is difficult. Reduced 1 by 1 level because there's those people, or because there's 3 people setting it up. So that becomes standard, which makes it 6 or better, and it's +2 because of his mechanics, and then +2 because of his pea suit and Gord's pea suit. So they get one set up, which is good. So right at the 15-minute mark, they get one set up. And we'll say that, let's see. Okay, the boom, which to sample the beanstalk, to sample the skin of the beanstalk is the most important one. All right, so they set it up, and finally, as the hatch opens up, oh, what are their dang names? As Stefan gets the hatch opened up, finally, like I said, with a German curse, Gordon and Zhao Mei and Horace, they get the sensor attached and bolted to the door, the hatch as it opens up, and the boom with satisfying close callness, right at the 15-meter mark, goes down, and they watch as it touches. Gordon says, well, don't just stand there. We got 2 more booms. We might be able to get them. All right, so they've got 5 minutes to get these things out there. So they're probably not going to get them because it took so long to get that hatch open. Uh, so Geiger maybe should have sent some better equipment. All right, we're at 50 minutes, which is a little longer than I prefer to do, but since it's kind of a comeback tour. All right, so who are we going to have? Let's see, we'll have, I got 5 minutes. We'll have Stefan and Zhao try to assemble one, and then we'll have Horace and Gordon assemble the other. All right, so they're both +2, +1, so +3. All right, so to assemble the equipment, they're like I said, they're probably not going to make it, but we'll give it a shot. So it's going to be 3 dice. Time roll is reduced by 3, so -6 to the time. Okay, 7 minutes. Nope. All right, so I'm not even going to bother. Oh, you know what? I guess I should. Actually, I will bother rolling because if they have a mishap while they're doing it, maybe because they're rushing. So that's 7 minutes. They're not going to make it. And let's see about these two. Maybe they should have just focused on trying to do something for the after action report. Oh, okay. So, all right. So they actually get it. Horace and they make theirs in, let's see. So that's, I think it's 3 minutes. Yep. So it's a minimum of 3 with everything. So it does make it down to 3 minutes. Now they might be able to get some. We'll see. And then they can just focus on that. All right. Well, and that means they've got like 2 minutes to attach that boom. So I don't think they're gonna do it, but all right. Stefan and Zhao. Okay, so they do manage to get the boom assembled, but they know they're just gonna have to unassemble it when they get done. So, and let's see about Horace and Gordon. Oh, they got okay, so they got it perfect. They got it perfect. I wonder if they could just shove that one out there and just take, because that one's just an air sample. I think what they're probably going to do is Stefan and Zhao, they realize that they're not going to get it, so we're going to have 3 people try to get this last boom attached. It's assembled, it's ready to go. Gord's like, yeah, come on, Stefan, help. All right, so 2 people or 3 people work on the single boom. Difficulty is increased by 1 level, and the time is halved. All right, so it's going to be difficult. It's going to be mechanical, so he's going to be doing that. So it's going to be -4, 5, 6, and then halved from that. All right. So they try to set it out there. I'm almost willing to let them maybe get some of the reading while they're attaching it, because obviously if they're attaching it in place, it's hanging out there already. So I'm almost going to say I'm going to let that go to see how that works. So -4. All right. That's going to be 10 and halved. It's going to be 5. Okay. All right. That's like right at the edge, but I'm gonna let him maybe let him get a second. Let's see how this happens. Hopefully, it won't get a mishap. Okay. All right. So that's right at the edge. So they do manage to get it out there, and they're attaching it where it's attached. Obviously, it's outside, pulling that air in. Um, so they would really only have maybe 2 minutes, but I think that would probably be enough to get that second one. Let's leave it up to some randomness. Gosh. All right, my dice are always there to entertain me. So no, the it was not enough, and well, I don't want to say that they dropped it or anything, but I'm going to say because that's almost as bad a roll as the other ones. I'm going to say that second sensor, they damaged it. They were rushing it together, and even though they got all put together and they didn't roll a mishap or anything, that they actually made the roll. I'm going to say that the second sensor got damaged, and as they pull the sensors back up, uh, Zhao Mei realizes that it got knocked against. They tried to rush it, and it was put together all right, but it got knocked against something. Maybe it hit the other boom, or maybe it hit the edge as it was going, but it knocked the connection out. So they did not get anything. They didn't get any information. All right, well that was a booger. All right, so they managed to get one sensor. They got the one that rubs against the thing, and really with the booms, I would think that they're already just hanging on, and they're you know, but still a bit dangerous to be holding on to some 10-meter boom without better equipment. Um, all right, so we'll call it there, and I'm not going to bother with any kind of rolls or anything. They did get one. They, and I'll because this was, not because that was also a bad roll. Say not only did it not get enough, and they got into another big fight. So now there's stress between the two sides. Horace is now actually kind of angry with everybody because he wasn't able to open the door, and so they yelled at him, and he's feeling, well, I didn't want to do it in the first place, or yelling at me, and it was a high stress situation that didn't go very well. So now everyone's on edge, and now they have to get into the lifeboat, which is the last thing that's in this capsule, is the lifeboat for them to stay in, because the capsule itself is evacuated. There's no atmosphere, so the lifeboat is relatively comfortable, but it's 5 days. The rest of the trip is 5 days, and so they spend the rest of the trip fuming and arguing and sniping at each other, and before they finally calm down. And we'll call it there. That was close and no bullets fired, but a little bit tense. Uh, I hope you enjoyed it, the return, and happy gaming.